Thanks for joining me on another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast. And as I'll explain at the beginning of the interview podcast, children's charities are very important to me, and I'm excited to be talking about the Variety Club of Iowa, the Variety Children's Charities. It's a program that I had at the Rotary Club of Newton here a few weeks ago. Had Wendy, the executive director of Variety, the children's charities, up to talk to the Rotarians about the great works that they do. And this time around, we'll be talking to the lady who is the PR and communications director of Variety, the children's charities, about all the things that they do. And we'll let you know about that in just a couple moments. But first, let's tell you about our sponsors, including Newton Clinic. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Don't wait to put your health first. Schedule your screening with Newton Clinic today and take an important step toward protecting your future. Call them to book a screening today at 641-792-2112. As I mentioned, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and breast cancer is the most common cancer found in women, regardless of race or ethnicity. Early detection saves lives. Call the Newton Clinic today. And guys, don't forget, you could get breast cancer too. If you feel something weird down there going on, check with your doctor and get a screening taken care of. Also, my buddy Ryan at Ryan's Tire and Auto. I got 4 new tires and brake pads put on my van. Getting ready to head for Des Moines and back for the winter months. I got it all winterized. They checked, of course, the antifreeze, the windshield wiper fluid. They checked everything to make sure it was all raring and ready to go, and they did a good job. And I feel very secure and confident with my van getting to and from, and they'll do a great job for you as they did for me. And Ryan wants to thank everyone for voting in the People's Choice for the Newton paper. Voting just wrapped up, and he wants to say thank you for all the votes and support over the last few weeks. It's been such a fun way to celebrate their 2-year anniversary serving this incredible community. From day one, their goal has always been to take care of their customers and do the right thing by the community, and none of it would be possible without their amazing team and loyal customers. Your trust, encouragement, and word-of-mouth support mean everything to them at Ryan's Tire and Auto on First Avenue in Newton. Another fine sponsor, Advantage Credit Union.
Feel a chill in the air? It's your scary credit card bill. The average household has over $6,000 in credit card debt. Advantage Credit Union helps you dig out with our Visa Classic credit card offer. Get 4.99% APR on purchases and balance transfers for the first 9 months. Then rates as low as 7.99% afterwards. Consolidate your credit cards into one easy, lower payment at ACU.
APR is annual percentage rate, subject to credit approval. Membership eligibility applies. Call 800-824-2575.
It's time for an Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and this time around, we're going to talk about Variety, the children's charity, and children's charities have always been important to me. You might have heard me talk about Jamie and Jim's Kids, the program that I co-founded with my former partner on the morning show in Waterloo at Mix 96, Jim Koloff, and children's charities have always been very vital throughout Iowa and have always been supported, like Make-A-Wish and whatnot. But Variety is a very interesting kind of program, and I'm proud once again to be involved with WHO Radio, who is tying in with Variety, the children's charity, for a radiothon coming up in December. And I'm with Alison Hanner, who is the PR person for Variety, the children's charity. Tell us what that is all about, Alison.
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me on. So, Variety, the children's charity of Iowa, we help children throughout the state, all 99 counties, and these are kids who are at risk, underprivileged, critically ill, or living with special needs. So, we have a couple different programs where we work to really meet the child where they're at, whether they need a traditional bike lock and helmet, they need a specialized piece of mobility equipment, we'll fund those, or if other nonprofits who help children, if they need support through a grant, we have a grant opportunity once a year where children's nonprofits can apply to receive funding from Variety to cover tangible expenses that make a direct impact on the children that they serve.
Can you tell us about some of the programs that you funded? I know there's a myriad of different programs, Alison.
Yes, so this year we funded 102 different nonprofits. So it is impossible to list them all, but it is everything from an after-school arts program to children experiencing homelessness. We've helped build a new shelter. We help provide different things that will help these nonprofits provide the great support that they do to the children that they're serving. So it really is anything that is going to make a direct, tangible impact on children. So whether that is a safe place to sleep at night, whether it is after-school programming, lots of boys and girls clubs throughout the state, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Really, if you think of a children's charity in Iowa, we have probably funded them along the way. So it's a great, great program. And if you're interested in learning more, varietyiowa.com is our website.
And Alison, your executive director, Wendy, came and spoke at our Newton Rotary Club. And one of the neat things that you supported, and they're all neat things, is those accessible playgrounds. And I know one of which is on the east side of Des Moines at the State Fairgrounds. And you folks were proud to present that at State Fair time this year.
Yes, so that was our newest inclusive playground. So the fair approached us, and they had a little girl named Kinsley, and she wrote them a nice email where she said, hey, this original playground I can't play on. This isn't working for me. I have special needs, and I'm not able to play on this playground. I would love a playground for everybody. And so the fair heard that, and then they came to us. So we help build these inclusive playgrounds throughout Iowa. We have 5 now that are our own Variety Star inclusive playgrounds, but then through our grant program, we'll also fund other playgrounds. So when you see a child in a wheelchair, or a child maybe with a leg brace or any other type of special need, and they're able to walk up the ramps on this playground, or there's also this special, it's hard to describe, but it's like a sponge almost texture for the surfacing. It's super soft, so they're able to wheel any of their mobility devices out on the playground, so much better than, the rocks or the wood chips, things like that. Things that you don't really think about, but when you have a child who is in a wheelchair or needs a walker or a gait trainer, these are things that kind of consume your whole life of, hey, I need to make sure that my child has the accessibility to go to this. So we were out at the State Fair a lot this year, and there were kids all over that playground every single time we came out there. One of the best stories, and I get goosebumps every time I tell it, we were doing an activation with Mid-American in their building up there, and we had a mom come up with her child, and she said, honey, you need to tell these girls what you did on the playground, because I thought it was really cool, and they're going to think that it's really cool too. So this little boy was about 5 years old. He was really nervous to talk to us, but he explained that there was a bunch of kids on the We-Go-Round. So think like a normal merry-go-round, except for you can wheel a wheelchair into that. And there was a bunch of kids all over it. And he got every child to stop playing because he saw a little boy in a wheelchair roll up, and he wanted to come play too. So he got everybody to stop, and the little boy with a wheelchair was able to get on and play on the We-Go-Round just like every other child there. And I think that it's one of the best stories because, one, it's talking about the inclusivity of the playground, but it's also teaching able-bodied children that they need to be looking out for their friends who are a little bit different than them and who maybe need a little extra support to be able to do the things that they're able to do. So it is the best thing. We know that children learn through play, so these are a very, very cool project for us.
Well, that's just one story, and you must have read my mind because I was going to ask you, why you like being involved in Variety, the children's charity. Can you think of another story, Alison, that kind of touches your heart and why you like to be involved in Variety?
So there are so many. I'll talk really quickly about our mobility program. So we provide these specialized pieces of adaptive mobility equipment. So it's a lot of the times a specialized bike, so it has three wheels total, 2 on the back, and these kids use these bikes or gait trainers, standers, walkers. They use them at physical therapy appointments, and it's fun for them. Physical therapy, typically isn't fun for kids, but these physical therapists and occupational therapists have found ways to make it enjoyable for the kid, where they are getting stronger and they're working on their coordination, but it's not so much work, it's more fun. But these kids are going to these appointments once or twice a week, and it's fun there, but then they go home and they're still not able to ride a bike like every other child, or if they don't have a stander at home, they're not able to be eye to eye and smile to smile with their friends. So every single one of these that we do is so special. My favorite moment in all of them is when you see a child get on a bike for the first time, and it is completely customized to fit their specific special needs, down to what color they want. And that child gets on the bike, and typically in the back there's the rear steering, so the parent most of the time is behind them helping them steer and push. And when that child looks back at their mom and dad, and both of them are just beaming at each other, the child is so proud that they're able to ride a bike. And the parents, after going through countless hurdles to be able to, advocate for their children, and they finally are able to see their child ride a bike or walk using a gait trainer, that specific moment where they're both looking at each other and they both have just the biggest smile on their face, it never gets old. We really have focused this year on expanding our mobility program outside of central Iowa or eastern Iowa. We really want to be touching these rural families and making sure that they have the support they need as well. So the need never stops. There's always children who are going to need these specific pieces of mobility equipment. So we need people to help support us and help us raise money so we can help more children.
That is a very touching story, Alison. It really, really is. And that leads me to talking about the Radiothon that's coming up with WHO and KXNO, and that will be in December. Maybe you can expound on that a little bit.
Yes, so we are super excited to partner with WHO Radio and KXNO Radio. So we will be promoting our Compassion Fund. So this is one of our quieter programs. It's a really interesting concept. So we know that nurses and social workers, they are working with these families day in and day out. These are families who have critically ill children, and they have a long hospital stay. And this started many, many years ago. The nurses at one of our partner hospitals, they had a coffee can where they collected their own donations, so that when they heard a family talking about, the gas to get to and from the NICU, or, hey, I don't know if we're going to be able to pay the electricity bill this month because we are spending all of our money to support our critically ill children. So the nurses would collect their own funds to support this, and we heard about that, and we decided that, this is something that Variety could step in and help provide some of this, discretionary funds that the nurses will have access to, where if they hear of a family struggling, they can provide it. And it is one of the most, you hear these stories about these families, and they just are going through the worst time in their life. And the last possible thing that a family should be thinking about when they have a critically ill child is, hey, how am I going to pay for the gas to get to and from the NICU? How am I going to pay for, extra daycare for my other children at home? So we really try to wrap around those families and make sure that they have the support they need so they can be there for their child in the hospital.
Now, do organizations apply for these funds, or do families apply for these funds, or both? And how do they go about doing that, Alison?
Mm-hmm. So it is specific families, not organizations. So if a family with a child who's critically ill at one of our partner hospitals, they can reach out to their social worker, their nurse. They will know about the Variety Compassion Fund, and then we'll provide them with a Visa gift card where they can go spend it on any of the expenses that they have to help them.
That is absolutely fantastic. And I think Wendy was saying, too, that when the Radiothon is going on, it's the Iowa State ball game. And with KXNO, our sports station, there might be a little basketball going on or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but that sounds like a lot of fun, too. If people want to contribute to Variety, the children's charity that's listening to this podcast right now, how can they go about doing that?
Yes, so like I said before, the need never stops. So we always need more donations to be able to make an impact on children throughout Iowa. So you can go to varietyiowa.com. There's a nice big red donate button, and we would love to talk with you more if you would like to contribute in other ways as well.
Okay, I want to ask too about, back when Jamie and Jim's kids was going strong and we were in eastern Iowa, there was talk about these sunshine coaches. Now, do you still have the sunshine coaches?
So we have rebranded a little bit. We now call them Variety Vans. So we have right now over 400 vans still being used out on the road today. So these vans are for children's nonprofits who they can only use them to transport children to and from appointments. Maybe it's doctor's appointments, physical therapy, mental health therapy, things like that. So we kind of saw that this was a need for nonprofits. They need to be able to safely transport kids. So that is right in line with our grant program as well. That application will open mid-March and will close the Friday before Labor Day.
Okay, if I know that Grinnell and Pella have an inclusive playground. Let's say that, for example, in my hometown in Newton, they would want to look into maybe some funding from Variety for an inclusive playground. Would they need to write a grant for that, and then they would contact Variety Club? How would that work?
Yes, so it would be a grant. Typically, if it's a new organization, we like to kind of meet with you ahead of time and walk through all of our different parameters. It does need to be a 501c3 registered nonprofit. And again, like I said, we want to make sure that the money and the funds that we're giving are going to have the most impact on the most amount of children. So our grant program is very thorough. We get the applications in, then one of our board members will meet with a representative of that organization, and then there'll be a couple other meetings where you'll kind of talk through what the potential funding would impact, and then we'll grant out the funds in September. So it's a very, very rewarding process, but it is a lot of hard work because we want to ensure that the donations we're receiving are then granted out to the organizations that are going to have a direct impact on children.
Well, sure. That's very, very important. Well, I'll tell you what, grant writing it's a skill. It really, really is. And I was talking to Wendy about that when she came to the Newton Rotary Club to talk about that, because I know she's written a lot of grants and whatnot. And when I was involved in Jamie and Jim's kids, we got a grant writer on board with us who had been with another organization, and she explained the whole process to me, and it boggles the mind. So it does take a lot of work, but if you can get it done and get the rewards out of that, it is well worth it. Again, if people want to contact Variety Clubs, how can they go ahead get it and get that done?
Yeah, varietyiowa.com. We have all of our information about our programs, our grant program, and then also our 2 Days of Compassion Radiothon is on there too.
And it's coming up in December. What are the dates for that?
So our 2 Days of Compassion will be on December 11th and 12th, and we will be broadcasting live at Jordan Creek from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you are needing to get some Christmas holiday shopping in, stop by and see us. And of course, we'd love to get a donation from you as well.
Fantastic. Alison, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, get involved with Variety, the children's charity. It's very, very rewarding. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Out and About with Jamie Grout. This podcast also sponsored by Lynette Baker, Halo Branded Solutions. If you need to have your product put on caps, T-shirts, pens, pencils, calendars, contact Lynette. You can find her business card on the sponsors page on outandaboutwithjamiegrout.com. Also, Westside Java Coffee Bar. You can stop on in and enjoy all the great, delicious Java that they have inside, or use their drive-up window on the west side of the square in Newton. Or the Made Right Sandwich Shop. Enjoy a tasty Made Right, or check out their breakfasts, open 7 days a week. Until next time, grrr. drought is out. See ya.